The NFL draft is always a time of excitement and anticipation, as teams across the league look to build for the future, and the 2025 draft is no different. One of the most talked about teams heading into the first round is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and all eyes are on who they might select with the 21st pick. While predictions are still fluid, there seems to be a growing consensus among analysts and experts that quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss is a prime candidate for the Steelers. The narrative surrounding Dart has been building momentum, and it seems like Pittsburgh might just be the perfect landing spot for him. However, with such high stakes in the Steelers' current roster, there are legitimate concerns about whether selecting Dart in the first round would truly be the best decision for the team's long-term success. Let's break this down a bit further. The Steelers are in a unique position, as they have a quarterback in Mason Rudolph, who is technically their starter for the upcoming season. Yet it's clear that the organization is looking ahead at the quarterback position, especially as they prepare for a future without him. If the Steelers were to bring in a veteran quarterback, that could significantly impact their draft strategy. As much as they may want to give Rudolph a chance to prove himself, the team is undoubtedly considering their options for the long haul. The quarterback position is the most important on the field, and making sure they have the right leader at the helm is critical for Pittsburgh's chances of success in the coming years. While a veteran quarterback could hold things together for a while, it would still make sense for the Steelers to look toward the future, and Jackson Dart could be a piece that fits into that puzzle. Jackson Dart is an intriguing prospect for several reasons. Over the past 2 seasons at Ole Miss, he has shown off his impressive ability to move the ball, putting up over 52 touchdowns and just 11 interceptions. That kind of production is hard to ignore, and it has led many to believe that Dart has the potential to be a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. However, while his physical attributes are certainly there are some significant concerns that come with his game. For one, Dart has shown moments of inconsistency, particularly when it comes to his decision-making and his ability to handle pressure situations. The quarterback position requires a certain level of poise, especially when the game is on the line, and Dart has not always been able to demonstrate that in college. The Steelers are a team that thrives on having a solid, reliable quarterback under center, and there's a real question about whether Dart can be that guy for them. When looking at his mechanics and his play style, there are both positives and negatives to consider. Dart's mobility is one of his best traits. He's able to extend plays with his legs and can move outside the pocket to make throws on the run. He also has a strong arm, capable of making throws deep down the field, and he shows good accuracy on those passes. These are all traits that could translate well to the NFL, where the ability to move and make big-time throws is invaluable. However, Dart also struggles with his pocket presence, and that's a huge red flag for a quarterback trying to make the jump to the NFL. In college, he was often allowed to make quick reads and get the ball out in a hurry, often relying on RPOs and screens to mask his weaknesses. At the NFL level, where defenses are faster and more complex, this could be a major issue. Another aspect of Dart's game that has raised some concerns is his mental processing speed. While he's certainly talented, it's been noted by some analysts that he doesn't always process information quickly enough to succeed in critical moments. His college offense often set him up for easy throws, but at the NFL level, he'll need to make decisions much faster and under much more pressure. That's something that can be learned, of course, but it's a real question mark heading into the draft. The Steelers are a team that values mental toughness and the ability to handle adversity, and that's something Dart will need to prove if he's going to be the guy they trust moving forward. Despite these concerns, Dart has a lot of potential. His accuracy, arm strength, and ability to move in the pocket are all impressive, and he's a player who has shown he can make big plays when called upon. Still, there's a question about his ceiling. Does he have the star potential to be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL, or is he more of a project? While I'm not ready to completely rule him out as a first-round pick, I do think it would be a bit of a stretch for the Steelers to take him at 21. It reminds me a bit of when the team chose a quarterback in the first round a few years ago, a player who didn't really have the pedigree of first-round talent, but was selected based on potential. That player never panned out, and I wonder if Dart could face a similar fate. As much as I like some aspects of his game, I'm not sure he has the kind of star potential that you want from a first-round quarterback. In terms of comparison, I see Dart as a slightly lighter version of a veteran quarterback who has found success in the NFL. He has some similar traits, but I don't think he's quite as fast or as precise as that player. Still, his arm strength, accuracy on deep passes, and mobility make him an intriguing option for a team like the Steelers, who could be looking for someone who can make plays both with his arm and his legs. If the Steelers decide to go with Dart, it will likely be because they see him as a player who can eventually become their starter, though it may take some time for him to reach that point. Whether or not he can live up to that potential is another story. One of the biggest factors in whether the Steelers select Dart would depend on what they do at the quarterback position in free agency or through a trade. If they manage to land a veteran quarterback, I don't think they'll use their first-round pick on Dart. Instead, they'll likely focus on finding a quarterback later in the draft or in the middle rounds. However, if the Steelers miss out on a veteran and are left scrambling for a quarterback, Dart could become a much more realistic option for them. They'll need to make a decision quickly, and if that happens, it could push them to take Dart in the first round, even if there are still some question marks about his game. At the end of the day, the Steelers have to make the best choice for the long-term health of their quarterback position. If they bring in a veteran, it gives them more flexibility in their draft strategy. But if they don't, they might have no choice but to take a chance on someone like Dart, even if there are concerns about his development. In that case, the Steelers will have to hope that Dart can develop into a solid starter and that his potential outweighs the risk of selecting him in the first round. Ultimately, it will be up to the team's brass to make that call, but the decision will shape the future of the franchise. Fans will be watching closely, and as always, the draft will be a thrilling time for all involved. As the draft draws closer, the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to examine all their options, particularly when it comes to addressing their defensive needs. While quarterback is an obvious focus, especially with Jackson Dart being widely considered a potential first-round pick, the Steelers also have to make sure their defense remains strong, as it's one of the cornerstones of their team. For this reason, many mock drafts are also predicting that Pittsburgh could select a defensive player in the first round, and one name that has started to rise to the top of their list is Derek Harmon, a defensive tackle from Oregon. Harmon has been drawing considerable attention from analysts, and his combination of size, strength, and explosiveness could make him an ideal fit for the Steelers' defensive line. What's particularly interesting about Harmon is that there's a growing possibility the Steelers could even trade down a few spots and still secure him, adding an extra third-round pick in the process. This scenario could allow Pittsburgh to address multiple needs while still landing a high-quality defensive player in the first round. Harmon is exactly the kind of player Pittsburgh might target to bolster their defense and ensure their line continues to be a dominant force. If the Steelers can pull off a trade down and still land Harmon, it would not only allow them to improve their defensive front, but it would also give them more flexibility to address other areas of need later in the draft. Harmon has been highly regarded for his explosiveness, which allows him to disrupt plays right off the snap. He has a rare combination of speed and power, which helps him bull rush offensive linemen, even if he doesn't immediately outrun them. His ability to use a variety of techniques to get to the quarterback or stop the run make him a versatile option for the Steelers. His pass rushing skills as an interior player are impressive, and while he might not be elite in this area, he certainly knows how to get the job done. In addition to his pass rushing ability, Harmon is also competent against the run, though he's not considered a top-tier run defender. While there's some inconsistency in his tackling, Harmon's ability to create chaos in the backfield is undeniable, and he would provide immediate value for Pittsburgh's defense. One of the biggest advantages Harmon brings to the table is his potential to step in and contribute right away. He's the kind of player who can make an immediate impact in the NFL, which is something Pittsburgh values highly when making a first-round pick. The Steelers are in need of a player who can step in and make an immediate contribution, especially as they look to solidify their defensive line for the future. Harmon's ability to disrupt plays and provide a pass rush from the interior would fill an important gap for Pittsburgh, and his versatility makes him an even more attractive option for their defense. If the Steelers do decide to trade down and pick up Harmon, it would be a win-win situation. They would not only land a player who can make an impact in year one, but they'd also gain more resources for the rest of the draft. This added flexibility could allow them to target other areas of need, such as the secondary or the offensive line, while still securing a top-tier talent on the defensive side of the ball. With so many moving parts in the lead-up to the draft, it's clear that the Steelers have several potential routes they could take, and landing a player like Harmon would only make their defense even stronger. While the Steelers are keeping an eye on players like Jackson Dart, their attention is also firmly fixed on improving their defense. In recent years, Pittsburgh has been known for having one of the toughest defenses in the league, and they'll want to keep that reputation intact as they build for the future. Harmon could be a key part of that future, providing the Steelers with the type of player they need to continue their defensive dominance. Given his potential to impact the game both as a pass rusher and a run stopper, he's certainly someone worth considering if they're looking to strengthen their defensive line early in the draft. As we move deeper into draft season, it's clear that the Steelers will have some difficult decisions to make. Whether they take a quarterback like Jackson Dart or opt for a defensive player like Tyreek Hill, the pressure is on to make the right choice. The Steelers are a team that prides themselves on building through the draft, and this year's first-round pick will be crucial in determining their trajectory for the coming seasons. The decision to select Dart or Harmon, or perhaps another player entirely, will shape the future of the franchise, and the fans are eager to see how it all unfolds. While the quarterback position is undoubtedly a point of focus for Pittsburgh, the idea of improving their defense cannot be overlooked. A player like Harmon could be the key to solidifying their defensive line for the long term, and his ability to contribute right away makes him a highly valuable asset. Whether the Steelers choose to take him in the first round or trade down to secure him later, it's clear that he has the potential to make a significant impact for the team. Harmon's explosiveness and versatility could be the missing piece the Steelers need to take their defense to the next level, and it will be fascinating to see if they make him their priority come draft day. With the draft just around the corner, there's still plenty of speculation and anticipation about who the Steelers will ultimately choose. Will they go with a quarterback like Jackson Dart, or will they prioritize the defensive line with someone like Tyreek Hill? The possibilities are endless, and it will all come down to the decisions made by Pittsburgh's front office. The fans are ready for what's next, and the excitement is only building as the 2025 NFL Draft approaches. While many mock drafts have focused on quarterbacks, the Steelers are also considering other positions that could address immediate needs, including the defensive line, where Harmon could be an ideal pick. As the draft unfolds, all eyes will be on Pittsburgh and their decisions, with the hope that whatever choice they make will set the franchise up for success for years to come. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking twist that has left NFL fans buzzing, Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins' explosive wide receiver, is reportedly in talks with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The news broke earlier this week, creating an instant stir across social media and sports networks. Hill, renowned for his unmatched speed and electrifying plays, is no stranger to controversy and drama. But this potential move to Pittsburgh has taken things to an entirely new level. Could Cheetah be making a dash for the Steel City? Hill's frustration with the Dolphins, following their failure to make the playoffs and his cryptic comments after the season, has raised suspicions about his future in Miami. His social media posts, including a cryptic change of profile picture referencing Antonio Brown's infamous departure from the Buccaneers, only added fuel to the fire. Pittsburgh, known for its iconic, hard-nosed football culture, might just be the fresh start Hill needs to revitalize his career. But why the Steelers? The Pittsburgh Steelers, who have had their own share of drama in recent seasons, are said to be exploring options to bolster their offensive game. With Hill's track record of lighting up defenses, particularly his jaw-dropping 2023 season with 1,799 yards and 13 touchdowns, adding him to the Steelers' arsenal could prove to be a game-changer. Pairing Hill with rising stars could bring a whole new dynamic to Pittsburgh's offense, something the city has been clamoring for since their last Super Bowl appearance. But what are the chances of this high-profile move happening? Steelers management has been tight-lipped about the discussions, with sources only hinting at the possibility of trade talks. Hill's market value is sky-high, and with a contract situation that could complicate matters, the financial logistics of the deal remain a huge hurdle. However, Rumors are swirling that both sides could be looking for a deal that would benefit them long-term. As the sports world holds its breath, Steelers fans are eagerly awaiting further details. Could Tyreek Hill, one of the NFL's most dynamic players, really end up in Pittsburgh? With trade rumors intensifying by the day, it seems like only a matter of time before we know if Hill will sprint to the Steelers or if this chase will end in a dead sprint. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.